Hi guys, welcome back to Too Cool for Middle School. Today I am doing a tag video about why I love teaching. To be honest, at the moment, a lot of the joy has just been sucked right out of teaching, and it's really hard and it's really not that fun, but there was a reason why we all got into this in the first place. So this tag was created by the Chronicles of Teacher Tay, and he just wanted to get some teachers together and spread a little bit of positivity and just to think back on why we got into teaching and why we love it. So definitely check out his video and his playlist where a bunch of other teachers have answered these same questions. Now, before we get into the questions, we have a very exciting sponsorship today. I have some really cool books to show you that are new on Amazon. This one is called The Complete Middle School Guide, Everything You Need to Ace Computer Science and Coding in One Big Fat Notebook. I know this is for middle schoolers, but I was looking through this and I mean, can I just take this whole course? So it really is set up like a notebook, just like you've taken notes with little doodles and vocabulary words and highlights and notes. Everything's broken up into units. There are like mnemonic devices. There are little quizzes that you can take just to check your knowledge, see if you're understanding. And this is a lot of content as I'm going through this. I didn't even know there was this much to know. If you're a computer science nerd, let's see if you know this. What does TCP stand for and how is it different from UDP? I have no idea, but that's why I probably should go through the information in this book. If you are a middle school teacher or you have middle school students at home, I feel like this would be a really nice kind of diversion and alternative to doing so much of our learning online. For me, and I think for my students, that's getting really exhausting. And maybe it kind of started off feeling fun that we could just do everything on a computer, but I would rather learn this way personally. I love all the colors in here. I love that there's still plenty of space to take your own notes on top of these notes. So this big fat notebook is available on Amazon on April 28th. I will leave a link down below, and look how much information is in here. This is just so cool. And here are a couple of others. This one is The Complete Middle School Guide to Math. Look at all these cool lessons. I feel like if I had used this when I was in middle school math, I would have done a lot better. It's got all these great examples, and then again, checking your knowledge, solving multi-step equations. So that one's really cool. This one is The Complete Middle School Study Guide for Science. I loved middle school science, actually. Look at those protons and electrons. Ooh, kinetic energies. Remember all of that? So again, if you're a teacher, these could be really useful for you in your classroom, or if you're a parent and you have a middle schooler at home, these could provide a nice little change of pace. And then on the back, I see that they also have American history, world history, English. I'm gonna get those ones actually, just to test myself and keep my mind sharp. So anyway, on to the tag portion of the video. The first step is to list 5 things that we love about being a teacher. And I think this is actually just such an important thing to do right now. If you're a teacher and you're watching this, leave a comment down below about your favorite things about teaching, because those things are just fading from our memories, even though they were the driving force of what we did. So we have to hold on to that and bring those things back. So for me, number 1, I just really like middle school age kids. I love that they're all so different and they're all on a really different plane maturity wise, so you just get this really fun mix in all of your classes. And I have 6th grade history classes and then 8th grade English classes, and my 6th graders are so much different from my 8th graders, but the 6th graders tend to be really enthusiastic and they'll get really creative and they're super funny and I enjoy them so much. But then my 8th graders are also really fun because they're a little bit more mature, they can do a little more on their own, and they can start to hold opposing thoughts in their mind at the same time and start to kind of work through deeper issues. I really love doing stuff like structured academic controversies and allowing them space to debate and talk about their ideas. And in general, this age group is just really, really fun. So for number 2, I'll go into all of that kind of stuff like the structured academic controversies, and we do community circles, and I love that aspect of teaching where we're talking and we're sharing ideas and we're using evidence and we're coming to conclusions and we're questioning each other. And I just think that's a really exciting environment to be in every day. And those kind of activities aren't in the lesson plan every single day, but sometimes even when we're doing more like an introduction activity or something, sometimes kids have really interesting questions and they just end up like leading the lesson in a totally different way, and I love that. The third thing that I love about teaching is that it is sort of like a bit of a performance every day. You kind of like plan out your script, you plan out the audience participation, you plan out the materials. Like it's a little bit like a skit all day long, maybe more of like an improv workshop, but I think I would struggle with a job where I was just like sitting behind a computer all the time and not getting to like interact with people. Oh wait, that's what I do now. I don't get to interact with anybody. I do just put stuff up on a computer. Like I don't like this side of it, but I really enjoy looking at like a 45-minute block of time and standards or content or skills that I want to teach in that day and figuring out like the most interactive, the most fun, the most engaging, the most effective way to put all of that together. There's definitely an art to it and it really makes the job enjoyable. The fourth reason I love teaching is that there's just such a fun energy all day long. Like it's rare for me to go into a day of teaching in kind of a bad mood and like still end it in a bad mood. Even if I'm kind of like stressed in the morning and I'm like running late and I drop off Jensen and I pull into, well, we don't have a parking lot, but find a parking space like a mile down the street and then hustle down the hallway. Even if I'm grouchy, there are like 5 kids who are just like, hi Mrs. Forbes, good morning Mrs. Forbes. If I'm carrying stuff, they're like, do you need me to grab something for you? Do you want me to unlock your door? This might not be the same for everybody, but I feel like just the way that students and teachers get to interact, like just right outside of the school hours, just right before and after school, kids are always like really nice to you. Maybe not necessarily during class, they might not do everything that you ask them to do, but right before school and right after school, they're super friendly and they really do just bring this great energy where you just like can't help but be positive. There are more than 5 things that I like about teaching, but I'll say a 5th one is just seeing kids grow and progress and meet goals and even like sometimes like, you know, make new friends or try out for a team or something like that. It's just really cool to have like a front row seat to seeing their writing improve or seeing them read 10 books in a semester or give a really great speech. Like you just become so proud of all of their accomplishments, and that's just like a really great way to live. Like it's just fun to be proud of other people's accomplishments and to help them along the way, and that's something that I'm missing right now. Like I just can't really see what my kids are doing, so I really miss that. The next part of the tag is one thing that you would recommend to a teacher who is feeling burnt out. And let's just pretend that this is like a separate time from right now where we're in the middle of a global pandemic, but just like normal burnout. And I actually have a video that I made about this, I guess like 4 years ago. It was a couple of days before I gave birth to Jensen. From my camera, like you can never really see my stomach, but I was massive when I made that video. And I was feeling kind of burnt out, but that's probably because I was like 39 weeks pregnant at the end of a school year. But one of the things that I would recommend is like doing something to understand your own personality and values a little bit better. So I think in that video I had recommended like the 16 personalities test, or there's like the Myers-Briggs test, or now everybody's into like the Enneagram or whatever. And for me, it is really helpful to see the things that I value a lot that other people might not necessarily value, and it doesn't mean they're like disrespecting me, you know? Because I get very frustrated by like lack of effort, lack of participation, and just in general like not caring about like doing your very best and making sure that you're always like representing yourself and your school in the best way that you can. And so sometimes I see people who aren't expressing those things in the same way that I do, and I get very frustrated. But learning more about like other personality types and just other values and other ways that people prioritize helps me to just like relax a little bit and just think about new ways to kind of connect with students who just have different personalities and different ways of showing effort or just different ways of prioritizing things. And that caused me to feel a lot less burnout. The last part of the tag is 3 things I wish I would have known when I first started. I am pretty lucky in that when I started teaching, my dad was a teacher, my mom was a teacher, my husband was a teacher, my sister-in-law was a teacher, my best friend was a teacher. So I had a lot of like sounding boards, like whenever I had a question about something, I could text somebody and like get some good advice pretty quickly. So that was very nice, but there were still, you know, lots of things that I just had to learn like as I went along. One thing that my husband and I always noticed that like new teachers tend to think, because they're constantly told this in like their credential programs and everything, there's some statistic somewhere that says like the #1 indicator of student success is their teacher. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. But as we started to like teach in different schools, teach in different areas, we moved around a lot. Like between the two of us, we have taught in like 10 or 12 different schools and districts, maybe more. And while it's definitely true that like you need a strong teacher in the classroom, there are a lot of other things that contribute to student success. And that's kind of freeing to know as well. Like 100% of the responsibility doesn't fall on you. Like the infrastructure of the school itself, the administration, the other teachers, the community around you, the parents, the health of your students, just like in general, how well a student's motivations align with what's happening in the classroom. Like all of those things contribute to student success. So if you feel like you're teaching your butt off and there are still kids who are struggling, there are many other pieces of the puzzle to consider. And it's not that that like lets you off the hook, like, well, I'm doing my job, so it must be something else that's messing this kid up. But really, like, just tapping into their motivations is really important. Like maybe grades are not necessarily the thing that motivates them. And maybe that's rooted in a lot of truth for them. Maybe they've not seen good grades lead to very much tangible success for people around them. So there's just more to it than like your individual lesson plan. That's not going to be the only thing that contributes to student success. So in a way that puts like more work on you. But on the other hand, it's also just like important to realize that about the limitations of who you are as an individual person. Second thing would just be daily slides, man. I mean, I don't think that Google education apps were as big of a thing 8 years ago when I started teaching. But if you're a new teacher now, especially like middle school or high school, use those daily slides to list everything that you're doing that day. It provides a great record for you. It provides a place for parents and students to see what they missed or what they need to do. Those things are just a lifesaver, man. The third thing that I would say I wish I knew more about from the get-go was just understanding how my identity as a white woman impacts a classroom full of students who do not necessarily share my identity. So there are a lot of books that you can read on this topic, and like the sooner the better. Just get started. I'm looking at my bookshelf here. Why are all the black kids sitting together in the cafeteria? That's a really important one that I would recommend about like the psychology of developing a racial identity. Oh, next to that, I also see Better Than Carrots or Sticks. That's another one of my favorite like kind of classroom management type of books. Let's see what else. Ooh, I'm seeing Just Mercy. Even though that one is not specifically about teaching, I feel like that one helps you to really understand like just the context of punishment in the society that we live in here in the United States. So you want to talk about race, that's another really good one for anybody, but definitely for teachers. Over here I have Was the Cat in the Hat Black? And I feel like that one is also just a really great book for understanding the impact of the literature that we choose on students' racial identity development and how they think about other people. Another really great one is This Book is Anti-Racist by Tiffany Jewell. I'll make a whole separate video all about like my 10 favorite books for teachers or something like that. But yeah, I would definitely say just like start reading about the larger context of education and how you fit into it, and then also your own personal identity and how that impacts the students directly affected by you. Okay, that ended up being a really long explanation, but that is all of the questions. Don't forget to check out Taylor's video and his playlist, and don't forget to check out these books down there in the Amazon link. And let me know if I should not focus on any other YouTube videos until I make like a top 10 books for teachers video. If you want to see something like that. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. You guys are amazing. See you later. Bye.